Are you ready for what's coming? Because I am, and I have been for about 25 years now. And what am I talking about? Last week we did a couple of videos about the current state of things, how parts are becoming difficult to come by, quality is in the toilet, prices are through the roof, things are getting worse all the time. One of those videos netted a couple of thousand comments, and almost unanimously all of the comments were in complete agreement. Even normally I get trolled on things, and even the trolls stayed out of this one. It was like, no, he's right. It was like, there's a problem. So I'm going to read you a comment from one of those videos. I'm not going to mention the guy's name because I don't know if he wants his name out there. But this sums it up pretty well. As a Fortune 50 manager for the last 30 plus years, I can attest that we are doomed as a society. Nobody cares about doing anything, all caps, anything correctly anymore. It's not just on the logistics, manufacturing, or operations side of the business. It's throughout the entire value stream. Marketing, accounting, design, manufacturing, service engineering, choose any department of almost any company, and the common theme is incompetence. The leaders are weak, thus the employees do as they choose without accountability or repercussions. The sun is setting on America. Good topic, Tony, nice job. Boy, that's a heavy statement. But he's not wrong. See, that's the thing, he's not wrong. We're in a heap of trouble. And when I said I'm prepared for this, it's because 25 years ago I went down the rabbit hole and I learned about all of the things that are basically manifesting themselves now. And back then, people thought I was out of my mind. That's what happens when you first wake up. Your first instinct is to turn everybody on to what you just learned. Oh, look at this, read this, check this out. Do you know what that means? Blah, blah, on and on. And people look at you like you're out of your mind. Oh, he's crazy. Stay away from him. He's a conspiracy freak. I'm a conspiracy freak. Absolutely. I own that. So I've said it 1,000 times. The problem is conspiracies turn into truths over time. So, how do you account for this? So I prepared myself way back when. I got out of any debt. I got out of any dollar-denominated assets. I got myself out of New York City and I came to Middle Tennessee where there's abundant fresh water and the land is so fertile you can't keep things from growing here. And we have a nice middle-class population, a heavily armed population with traditional values. This is a perfect place to ride it out. A lot of people take, when they realize what's going on, it's like they take on that prepper survivalist mentality, and it's like, okay, I'm going to go live in the woods, right, and just let it all blow over. But that's not the attitude that I took, and that's not the attitude I want you guys to take. Because the idea here isn't to survive what's happening. The idea is to turn the things that are happening into opportunities for you, for us, collectively. Because if you're watching this channel, it means that you're somewhat of a gearhead. You're somewhat mechanically inclined. Whatever level of experience or expertise you have, it doesn't make any difference. You're of the mechanical mindset. And no matter what happens, no matter how bad things get, no matter what war happens where, or what crash happens there, or it doesn't make any difference. The sun goes up and the sun goes down, and the world continues on, and it requires people like us, the ones that turn the wrenches, and the ones that make things move and keep everything running. It requires us, right? As bad as things get, and they're going to get really bad, and they're going to get really weird. As bad and as weird as they get, you have to understand that your specific mindset, your skill set, puts you in a different league. It gives you the opportunity to thrive in a crisis situation like this. Now that sounds selfish on the surface. It's like, take advantage of everybody else's misery, right? It's not like that at all. When you get on a plane, they go through that whole drill when they drop the masks, right? Just in case there's a crisis and you need oxygen. And they tell you, if you're carrying a baby, You got a kid with you, right? Don't put the mask on the kid. Put the mask on yourself, because you can't help that kid if you're out, right? You need the oxygen. You can carry the kid out. So you have to cover yourself first, and then you can take care of the things that you care about, the people you care about, your community. You have to cover yourself first. And so you have to look at the things that are going on, the situation that's currently evolving, the devolving of our society, and look for the opportunities. This is the time to start looking at starting businesses. This is the time to develop the side hustle. Get away from the things as they collapse. I can't tell you how it's going to happen. And we go back to 20-something years ago when I first came across this. And it was clear at that point that the world economy is a Ponzi scheme. It's going to go until it stops. When is it going to stop? I don't know. I thought for sure everything was going to end, the early 2000s, or that the 2008 deal was going to be it. Because it's like, mathematically, it can only go so far. You can only build so much debt. You can only print so much money until it's just like, but no, they managed to keep it going. They keep it going year after year after year until we've reached this point. And I believe that this has been a predetermined point where it's like, okay, we're going to pull a plug and start all over again. I'm not going to say those words. You know what I'm talking about, right? There's certain words we can't say. That's all part of, Actually, I just ordered a shirt that said, make 1984 fiction again. Right? I should have it in a day or two. So there are certain words we can't say, there are certain concepts we can't talk about, and so we won't. But you know what I'm talking about, and you know who we're talking about. Don't even mention it in the comments. We all know. It doesn't matter. Collectively, we need to prepare for what's coming, and we need to position ourselves to capitalize or prosper, I should say, as things take a dive. And again, that's not being selfish. That's if you want to take care of your friends and your family and your community and your dogs and everybody else, you have to think along these lines. You have to cover yourself. So with that, there are two channels that I need to recommend. And one of them, I'm actually going to steal an idea from them. The first is Southern Prepper 1. So Southern Prepper 1 does a series called Boots on the Ground. And this is fantastic. He is what the news should be. He treats it like the news should be treated. And what he does is he has his viewers write in and give him updates on the situations that are happening in their area. What they see, what's going on. And so, for instance, it'll be somebody from North Dakota will write in and say, yeah, I bought eggs last week and they were $2 a dozen and there were plenty of them. And this week there's only 3 or 4 cartons of them out and they're $5 a dozen. And my doctor says he can't get this medicine anymore, so I have to go to this. So it's all a series of, it's all reports from people out in the world telling them what they're seeing and how they're seeing it. But something really got my attention. It gets my attention every time he does one of these reports. And it's from people who work in, let's say, utilities, electric companies, water companies, people who work for railroads, trucking companies, and they will write in and they'll say, we can't get switches, we can't get transformers, we can't get this thing that's critical to keeping this system in place. People have always speculated about the grid going down, about massive blackouts and all sorts of stuff like that. Well, if it does happen, I don't think it's going to be an EMP. It's not going to be something like that. It's going to be sections going down because they can't get replacement parts. It'll be trucking companies going down because they can't get replacement parts, or the parts they get are defective. There are waiting times on things that are just astronomical, stuff that you would normally, you order it up and it's there in a day or 2 days, and now it's like 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, no idea when it's coming, if it's ever going to be available again. These are things that are happening right now, not going to happen. It's happening right now. The other channel that I want to recommend, I've mentioned this guy before, is the Economic Ninja. And the reason I like this guy so much, he does multiple reports a day on economic things. Economic news, events as they occur, and gives his spin on it. But what I like about him is that he has the same exact attitude that I do. This isn't a time to be worried. This isn't a time to like dig in and get all, this is a time to start looking around at opportunities, because every crisis, and we have multiple crises evolving right now as we speak. Every crisis has its opportunities, and his stance is the same as mine. As things go bad in whatever part of the world you're in, whatever country, whatever city, whatever town, whatever job you're in, as things go bad, you're going to find opportunities. And this is the time you can crush it if you play your cards right. So those are two channels that I want to recommend. And we're going to start, I don't want to say pivoting. We're definitely not going to stop doing the fun stuff. I want to do the fun stuff. But we also have to start looking at these situations as they evolve. And I'm probably going to take like I said, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So I think we're going to do our own version of boots on the ground in the coming weeks, where I'll have you guys send in reports, just a quick email, just saying, yeah, I work for Ford and we can't get this, or I work at O'Reilly's and we can't get that, or I just went to buy some, whatever it happens to be, and it's discontinued. We need to know these things. We need to keep, like as a community, as an automotive community, we need to be aware of this changing situation as it goes. And hopefully collectively we can find some common general direction and crush this thing. Because, listen, life isn't fair, the world isn't fair. Not everybody is going to come through this intact. Not everybody's going to come through this and not everybody's going to come through it, period. We want to make sure that as many of us as we can do get through it. And again, it's not a matter of being selfish. You can't help anybody if you don't help yourself first. And that's the important thing to remember here. It's equitable. Trust me. This is not a matter of greed. It's not a matter of looking to take advantage of, to capitalize on other people's misfortunes. It's a matter of, this is the reality. This is what's going on, and let's cover ourselves. So I recommend those two channels for sure. Southern Prepper 1, fantastic channel. I'm telling you, it's once you start watching this, once you start watching this guy's reports, it becomes addictive, and it's just like, okay, this is going to be my nightly news. It's really good. I gotta. He's one of the best YouTubers out there. And the Economic Ninja, because again, there are things you can do economically. There are things you can line yourself up for, and I don't want to go into them here on this channel. But there are ways that you can line yourself up to take the greatest advantage of the opportunities that are right now evolving. So that's it. I hope you got something out of that. Do your homework, really. Learn as much as you can. Those people who you thought were just some crazy tinfoil hat just a few years ago, everything they was talking about back then, happening right now. I'll see you tomorrow.